How you doing?
I am awesome. How are you?
Wonderful. Just a FYI, we don't need an ASL. She
Okay,
can,
wait a minute. Let me turn my volume up just a little bit, babe. FYI, what now?
we don't need an ASL.
O-
She
Okay.
doesn't,
Hi.
she doesn't
Hey,
know,
I'm Laura. Sorry, go ahead.
she doesn't know sign language. She could just hear if you just talk louder. So we don't need an ASL because she doesn't
And
even,
just to be clear, this is for Miss Chandler.
you mean Miss Carter?
Oh, you're right, Miss Carter. Yes, I was looking at the wrong one. Yes, Miss Carter.
Right.
Correct. Okay. So you're not, my services are not needed.
Yeah, actually, just a second, Deputy,
Yeah.
I will say that I was here yesterday. The defense attorney was very insistent that we needed to have the ASL interpreter here to speak with her.
We can
But-
try, Your Honor, if you'd like me to try speaking, interpreting for her. Absolutely.
My thing is, she does not know sign language at all.
Okay.
So it's kind of pointless.
No, I understand. I missed that part. So I was just coming in to make sure that she does not, given the fact of how insistent the defense was yesterday, just to make sure we were okay to release her.
Okay, so sign language, she can stay on. I mean,
Would you like me to just introduce myself and just make sure that,
you can do that.
oh, is this her in the front row here?
No. She's actually on the phone talking.
Oh.
She's talking to her attorney on the phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you finished?
Hang up.
Yeah. That was her. And I could bring her to the front.
That would make me feel better just to be sure that.
Okay. There you go.
I don't do sign. I just can't hear very well. I have hearing aids, but I don't have them with me.
Okay. When Judge Mincy comes on, I guess we can go ahead and release you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I thought you were the judge. Thank you. All right.
No, just one of the attorneys.
Thank you.
Hey, Miss Thomas,
What's up?
can you call me at the courtroom, please?
You,
Hey, Ms. Falk.
Yes,
Testamark.
yes, I
Look.
am filing that down now. I did not get a response from the DA's office on that one, so I am filing it down.
So it's gonna be add-on?
Yes, please.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Miss Bridgewater, my apologies. I'm sending that down now.
Is this an altogether new defendant or is it somebody on the calendar already?
He is not on the calendar, I do not believe.
he was on the pull sheet, Holly.
He was on the pull sheet, but not on the calendar.
Okay. Then I'll just wait for Mr. Jordan to send over the add-on calendar and I'll handle it from there.
I appreciate that, Miss Bridgewater, and again, my apologies.
Nor is anybody reset medical?
Washington.
Washington,
Oh, great.
Washington, okay.
Morrow,
And Mara, okay.
Oh, no, they're gonna bring more.
oh, they are?
Yeah, Milton said she'll bring at the end of the calendar.
Oh, my corrections. They're gonna try to do.
Okay,
bring
so
me
just
Morrow.
Washington.
Yes.
And that will be 11:25 to
Yes.
11:25.
Did the judge say she'll be right back?
I
seems-
haven't heard.
Okay.
Let me step off for just a minute and let's see.
Tell him I heard that. All right, ready to start?
Yes, Your
Yeah.
Honor,
Uh,
but just really quickly, the PD's office yesterday asked for a sign language interpreter today, but it appears that the defendant, the sign language interpreter was called out for, does not know sign language. The interpreter did try to communicate with her and she stated she doesn't know sign language. She's just lacking hearing aids, so it makes it difficult for her to hear. So if we could release the sign language interpreter.
Okay, that is fine. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a
Thank
good day.
you.
Okay.
Number 15 and 16 is reset medical.
Just actually just Washington. They said they were bringing out the other defendant.
Yeah. He got 2 positions.
Oh, thank you.
And there will be an add-on calendar.
That is correct with the defendant by the name of Testamark. I'm filing it down now.
It's just one person. Don't freak out.
I know. Did you see my
Y'all
face?
saw her face?
I
Just
know. I
one
tried,
person.
I tried not to show my emotions on my face. But
Oh, boy.
say add on the calendar like it's Saturday.
No, it's
Let me
just
go
one
over-
person. It'll be quick, I promise.
Gotcha. Let me go over to 15. 15's medical reset
And 16.
and 16. All right. And so we're ready to.
And Your Honor, while we're making notes, the reset date for the SAP calendar is December the 5th.
All right. I do see my PDs. Hi, Ms. Thomas. I haven't seen you in a while.
Hi, Your Honor. It's been a minute.
Yes, yes, and you have someone new with you? Or someone I may not have met yet, Mr.
He's
Is it
been with our office. He's just from the felony division.
okay? And pronounce your last name, Rogalski, maybe?
Yes, Your Honor, that's good. It is
I
Regalski.
kind of slide into it, right? Okay,
Yep.
Rogalski, gotcha. Okay, nice to meet you. All right,
Pleasure to
we'll
meet
get
you as well.
started. Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to begin our Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar. And this is a calendar for cases in which individuals have been recently arrested for certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's office has already accused these cases of the offenses brought against them, and the cases have been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will usually be the defendant's initial appearance before a state court judge, so we are able to address several matters, which include bond, possible arraignment, and a possible plea offer if one has been made by the state at this juncture. Our SAP reset date is December the 5th, and that is the date that cases will come back if they haven't bonded out. Also, I'm going to begin and advise everyone that this whole entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube. So govern yourselves accordingly. I want to also remind the defendants that you have certain constitutional rights. The first being that you have a right to counsel. You should know who your attorneys are by now. You should have spoken to them. I think everyone's been interviewed, hopefully. Also, I want to remind you that you do have a right to remain silent. Remember that anything that you state about the facts, the circumstances, and the occurrences of the case can and will be held against you. The state is here and they're listening and they're taking notes. So listen to your attorneys. First case.
Position number 1, Ms. Carter.
Okay. That's 24 CR 007737C. Is that, I don't know if it's Jeanne or Jean Carter. 1 count of battery family violence. Actually, 3 counts of battery family violence. Pre-trial.
Last arrest was 1997 for suspended license. That's it.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor, this happened November 20th, 2024 at 2900 Landrum Drive, Southwest in Atlanta. Miss Danita Alexander Ham is the defendant's roommate. She stated that the defendant attacked her during an argument. She had scratches, bruising, bleeding to the eye, and a busted bottom lip. The defendant also admitted to officers that she had tried to gouge out the Miss Ham's eye, but missed. The defendant then told the officers that Ms. Ham attacked her, but the officers did not see any visible injuries on the defendant, and she was deemed the primary aggressor. We haven't had an opportunity to speak with Ms. Ham. She stated they both share a room at Hopeful Haven Housing, which is transitional housing. She stated she had to call a peace officer on the defendant before because she had locked her out of her room. And in this incident, the defendant was yelling and cursing at her, and she was recording the defendant, and the defendant broke her phone. Ms. Ham, I would like to note, Judge Mincy is a double amputee, and she is in a wheelchair and is wheelchair bound. She stated that she feels unsafe with the defendant around, and she wants no contact with the defendant and for the defendant to stay away from her residence. The battery was charged, it looks like, in the alternative. So we would be asking for a split bond on this case. We are asking, currently there is no bond. We're asking for a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial services on count 1. Count 2 and count 3, we'll agreeable to a $1,000 signature only bond. And we would like to ask for anger management as part of the pretrial services bond. I will say the state is asking for a pretrial services bond instead of just a straight signature bond due to SB 63. We would like to sound for Ms. Ham at this time, and that's all for the state.
Okay. And whose case? PD Thomas or?
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry about that.
Uh-huh.
Yes, Your Honor, this Mrs. Carter is the defendant who was believed to needed a sign language interpreter. She is just hard of hearing. I was briefly able to talk to her right before the call of the calendar, Your Honor. So what I've been able to pull from that is Miss Carter is 65 years of age. She's been a Georgia resident since 2008. She has 3 adult children, but they do not reside in the state, and I believe she does not have any assistance from them. Currently, Ms. Carter is unemployed, and she was living at the housing facility. Her and Ms. Alexander Ham were roommates. However, she understands that she may not be able to go back to the residence. And when I asked if she has anywhere else to stay, she did express that she does not have anywhere else to go. I do plan on getting her connected with the social worker services that we do have, to see if we would be able to assist with housing. I'm sure everyone's pretty aware that housing nowadays are pretty limited, but we are going to try to do our best to try to find her somewhere to go, and at least get her even connected to one of those warming centers that they have. But other than that, Your Honor, that's all that I was able to get from Ms. Carter. We would be asking for the signature bonds, so we would be asking for the court to honor the state's recommendation.
Right.
And Your Honor, I did neglect to state this out loud, but because it was the victim's preference, we do ask for stay away and no further contact.
And then tell me, this is what type? Is it a boarding house or is it a?
It's transitional housing, according to this. Hopeful Haven Housing is the name of the facility.
Oh, okay. So, and I'm thinking on the stay away, I don't know if, I guess it's going to make her somewhat homeless, or she has to find some other place to stay. I didn't know how she was placed there or what the situation was.
That's correct, Your Honor. She's gonna have to unfortunately, she's gonna have to find somewhere to go. I did ask if she thought she would be able to go back to the location, and she said she doubted. So she's just, unfortunately, we're just gonna have to find her, try to get some resources down there to her before she leaves.
Mm-hmm. And are they both, or is everyone there? Is she wheelchair bound as well, it appears?
So the victim, Miss Ham, is wheelchair bound. She's a double amputee and she does still reside at that location, for my understanding.
Okay.
I don't know if Miss Carter is wheelchair bound. I do see her in the chair, but I'm not sure if that's
from the jail or just
if that's a jail thing or came with.
Oh, okay. All right. I will go with the state's recommendation of a split bond. And so on the first count, the 2,500 signature bond through pretrial. Do you know, I guess, did she have cell phone? She'll be able to call in. I will allow her to maybe call in at a level 1.
I can give the Officer Norris, can you ask Miss Carter if she has a telephone number, a cell phone that she'll be able to?
She just told y'all. Go ahead.
I lost my phone 2 weeks ago. I have to go pick it up from Crossroads.
Oh, but she will be getting one.
Okay.
I have to go to Crossroads to pick it up.
All right, that's fine. All right,
That's
and then
on 420 Cortland.
okay. And then on the second 2 counts, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. And I would like to order anger management, anger awareness through pretrial. The concern I may have is her getting there to those classes. And Miss Carter, would you be able to get to the classes?
Permission to speak?
Yes.
Can I just stay here?
Stay where?
Here?
Oh, no. No, they're going to help you. I do understand housing is going to be an issue for you.
Where am I supposed to go?
The social worker is going to come to visit you.
And how am I supposed to get my things?
Well, I'll give you a one-time law enforcement escort to the location at the 2900 Landrum Drive, I believe it is. So that you can go over there to get your belongings. But listen to me, you need to get the police to escort you there or to meet you there. Don't go there by yourself. Make sure you have that arranged.
She attacked me. See, nobody wants
Miss Carter. We don't want to discuss the allegations and facts of your case right now. We're just trying to see where you need to go is after you get your belongings, okay?
All right, so the police will help you go over there to retrieve your belongings because I'm ordering you to stay away from that location, except for the one-time visit that you can go back to get your personal belongings. Okay, so I want you to be careful with that because I don't want you to get arrested again. And honestly, we don't want you there longer than you have to be at the Fulton County Jail. Okay, that's not the place. We're going to try to assist you with finding somewhere to stay. Can I ask you this, Ms. Carter? Ms. Carter, are you wheelchair bound as well?
No, ma'am.
You're not? Okay.
Ma'am.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do that. We're going to have you to get out, but I'm going to ask for you to take 2 anger awareness courses through pretrial, and let's see how we can arrange for you to do that. And someone can hopefully help you, or when you talk to the social worker, see if they can help you to get your cell phone to get that picked up, and then to arrange for an escort over to the location to get your belongings. So I want you to stay away from that location, and I want you to have no further contact with Ms. Ham. Do not. So right now, while you're on bond, letting you out, you've got to stay away from there, and if you see her coming, go the other way. Not talk to her, not call her, not have any contact with her, okay? All right, good luck to you.
So what's your bond?
It is a total of 4,500 split, 2,500 through pretrial, and 2,000 through the jail. But total SOBs. 2 days anger awareness. Stay away and no further contact.
And she knows she got to report once a month, right? You this level one?
Yeah, she's level. I did say level 1. Can she call in? Well, it seems like she can get around, so maybe she can report. I was trying to make it a little easier on her.
I'm asking.
She can't really move. I actually put her in the wheelchair because she has an issue with her leg.
Yes.
So
I'm going to allow her to call
can't
in.
walk at all.
Really? Okay. So I'm going to allow, can you do that pre-trial? She can call in.
If you order it.
Okay, I'll order it.
All right.
All right, take care, Miss Carter. Anything else?
You order what? I'm sorry, you said you still order?
That you can call in to pre-trial. You won't have to go down there. So
Oh,
once you get your phone, you'll have to report once a month or have a conversation with them to call in.
okay, well, will they assist me to go check my mail at 420 or? how do
No, pretrial services won't do that. They're just keeping up with you while you're on bond. Talk to the social worker about that.
Okay, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right. Good luck to you.
Have a good day.
All right. You too.
We
Good
can go to-
afternoon, Judge Mincy.
I'm sorry.
Good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon. How are you?
Good. This is ACBC. I have
Yes.
position number 8, Angela Morrow.
All right. 24 CR 007762B, Angela Morrow, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. Pretrial.
77 total. Last arrest was in September for trespass, July trespass, June trespass. It's mostly all trespass.
Okay. Stay.
Yes, Your Honor. So in this case, the defendant came to Grady property where she had been ordered multiple times to stay away by the court, and the police and Grady security. She's been arrested several times for refusing to leave Grady, and she just pled to a criminal trespass from that location on September 26th. and told to stay away from Grady unless she is seeking medical treatment. There was no evidence that she was there on this date, November 21st, for any kind of legitimate purpose. She's currently under sentence to stay away from Grady in 24 CR 004568H. She has been on our 11 o'clock calendar on Thursdays a number of times, but she always does come off that calendar and ends up entering a plea. I do believe that a social worker would need to go visit her, but at this time we're asking for a $1,000 surety bond, stay away from Grady, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. That's all for the state.
All right. Hold on, Deputy Falk. I see the victim has signed on, Miss Alexander Ham from the previous case.
Oh, from the previous case.
Mm-hmm. Miss Ham, can you hear me? Can't hear you, but we've already heard that case. And you may have gotten on a little late. Or did I omit you?
I was there. I was there for most of it and for the end, but I've been having trouble with my phone. She destroyed my other phone, so I'm having trouble with this phone. She destroyed my evidence on the phones after
Right,
the
I
attack.
understand. Well,
Yeah.
did you hear the order? She's getting out on bond, signature bonds, but she has some conditions with pretrial, and she's not supposed to be back over there, and she's supposed to stay away from you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Take care.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right. Okay, I'm sorry, Deputy Falk.
That was it for the state.
Right.
There's no other additional information we need to provide on Miss Morrow's case.
Correct. All right. And PD, is it Rogalski?
Yes, Your Honor, it
Okay.
is. Well, come before you today is Miss Morrow. She had been reset a couple of times previous to this. We do want to relay that we do believe that there are some MH issues currently ongoing. And after the discussion that I did have with Miss Morrow, I think that I do have concerns about her being in the jail. She is very concerned about getting her medication. She's been stating that recently it's been very difficult for her to get her medication. She relayed to me that she is 65 years of age, gave me an address of 1046 Ventnor Avenue. She made it to she said between the 8th and the 12th grade in school. She also does have high blood pressure, COPD, and bipolar and depression. So lending itself towards that MH concern. Your Honor, we do understand the high amount of cycles here. We do understand the difficulty of this scenario. We would be asking for her to be released on a signature bond today. I have been in contact with my supervisor about this case as well. And so I will be reaching out to a social worker to see what we can maybe do to assist her with a lot of her both housing as well as medical needs here, because I would really like to be able to figure out something to do for her. So I would just be asking here today that she is afforded the opportunity to be able to potentially go home in the meantime through a signature bond. Thank you.
And Your Honor, I would just state that that would be a lower bond that has been previously given to her on her last two cases, which was a $1,000 surety bond that was provided by Judge Morrow in July of 2024. So we'd actually be going in the opposite direction of the Ayala factors should the bond be lowered beyond the $1,000 surety bond.
All right, I will order the $1,000 surety bond. And I'm going to order once again, Miss Morrow, that you've got to stay away from Grady. This cannot go there. I don't know that I want to hear what she's saying because I see the attitude. I might not want to.
Your Honor, in this scenario, I would advise Miss Morrow to exercise her right to remain silent. And so I do advise her of that, and I would like that noted on the record.
Right. When we'll do that, does she? It sounds like with the MH, she's already gotten a diagnosis. I don't need to order that again. I would just also ask her to stay medication compliant while on bond, and to continue any treatment that she needs to do while she's on bond. That's all I'll address to that at this point, and just kind of see what happens.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Position number 2, Ms. Coates.
Okay. This is 24 CR 007771G. Karen Coates, charged at 1 count of battery, pretrial.
I got first arrest.
Okay. State.
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident did occur on November 22nd. Officers responded to a dispute call at 1947 Sandtown Road in Southwest Atlanta. After investigations, officers determined that Ms. Coates had engaged in a verbal argument with Miss Shalia Johnson, that's spelled Shalleea. During the argument, the situation escalated, and Ms. Coates pepper sprayed mace directly into the victim's face and body, causing redness, intense burning, and irritation to Ms. Johnson's skin. Your Honor, the state is recommending a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial services. 1 day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Johnson, and no drug, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Okay. Is it PD Tom? I'm sorry. You've already gone.
Yes, Your Honor. And I'm sorry, the state asked for a stay away as well. I was writing it down.
Okay.
I did not ask for a stay
Okay.
away only because it was not clear in the warrant who resided where.
Oh.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Your Honor, this is Miss Coates. She's 57 years of age. I spoke to Miss Coates. This, her and Miss Shalia Johnson's relationship is nothing more than a roommate situation. They've been roommates for the past 2 months in a room and board. The owners of the house, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, no relation to the complaining witness. They have a lease agreement with Miss Coates, and where her lease isn't up until January. She is permitted to return back to the location, but she did express that she is currently looking for other places to stay. Her and Miss Shalia Johnson have had issues in the past. She did express that she was defending herself, and we'll just leave it at that point for today's purposes. But she is under the impression that her and Miss Johnson will no longer be roommates. She has no issue with no further contact with Miss Shalia Johnson. As far as other factors, she's been a Georgia resident since October of 2021. She has family here in Georgia, 1 son and I believe another relative in Dublin, Georgia. She was currently just employed working at the Stockbridge Public Pharmacy. She completed high school and some college. As of right now, until she starts working and getting paid, she does not have any other financial assistance. So we would be asking for that signature bond and for her to return back to the room and board in which she is residing, Your Honor. But all other no contact provisions we have no issue with.
I guess the only concern I have is going back so soon. Hasn't been a lot of cooling down, and I don't, want to put her back in that situation. I don't know how big this home is and how she will be able to stay away from her in a, rooming house of sorts, unless it's got 20 rooms and it's, a mansion on an acreage, something like that. Even if
Your Honor,
I may not let her go back. Yes, ma'am.
Because we were asking for the no further contact, but was unclear the living situation, the state would add a stay away from the location.
Yeah, that's what I'm inclined to do because it's barely been 24 hours.
Your Honor, we would ask for a one-time escort for law enforcement, but also we would ask for her to be allowed to return to the residence if Miss Shalia Johnson is no longer residing there. The owners are and have expressed that they are in the process of evicting Miss Shalia Johnson. But if she can return to get not only get her personal belongings, but again, if Ms. Johnson is no longer going to be residing at the premises, we would ask for Ms. Coates to be allowed to return back, at least until January when her lease is up.
The problem is she's not even gonna get that, dispossessory that done.
Right.
Well, I didn't know if they were going to legally evict Ms. Johnson or.
Yeah, I dare not ask that question.
And I don't want to know. Yeah, I don't want to know either. But to the extent that
legally they would
if,
not be able to get it done in time.
Correct. If Ms. Johnson is no longer residing at that location, the state has no objection. However, as long as Ms. Johnson is at that location, we would ask for the stay away.
And so what I want to have happen, and I've ordered in the past, is, the officers go with her to escort her, but sweep that property. I'm just concerned, I don't want anyone to not tell the truth or to say that, and then Ms. Johnson comes back the next day and says, nope, I still live here, my things are here. Who's going to vouch to say that her things are not there, are there? I don't know. I guess they would have some way to know. I don't know if each room has a door. I mean, each door has a number on it. And we know, that I've seen all kinds of situations like this with rooming houses of sorts, or as we call it, room and board housing. You may be able to tell if, what room someone's in or not. And I get it. And, it's the holidays and things of that nature, but I'm inclined to say she just can't. She's just going to have to find somewhere else to stay. I want to be on the safe side, and I want to make sure that we don't have either of them or both of them back here in December. So let's do this. The state is recommending a 1,500 signature bond through pretrial. I'll do that. 1 day anger awareness. And one-time law enforcement escort to get her personal belongings. And I'm just gonna have to order that she stay away because I'm not convinced we can get Ms. Johnson out quick enough to make it safe for her to return. If we have good information about it, and you all can apply for a bond modification. But let's stay away right now. One-time escort to get her belongings. 1 day anger awareness course through pretrial. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. I think that'll do it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
What level is that?
Level 1, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? Like, can we verify anything with the owners of the property as far as Miss Sheila, the other tenant?
Hey, Ms. Coates, so if you so happen to get in contact with the owners of the property, if something can be verified, maybe in writing through the courts or something like that, then the judge can do a bond modification to allow you to go back. But as of right now, you can't go back on your own. You need to go with law enforcement to get your personal belongings, okay? Okay.
All right, thank you.
Next is number 11. Ms. Stevens. Ms. Help.
This is 24 CR 00777-5A. Stevens, that's Tarkariana, charge of 1 count of battery family violence pretrial.
It's a 4th arrest. She just got suspended license arrest and 1 shoplift. That's it.
All right. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. This did occur on November 21st. Officers were called to 1009 Cedar Avenue in East Point. There they talked to the victim. Well, they actually talked to both parties, but initially the victim, Miss Tiana Stevens, who is the daughter of the accused. Tiana is spelled Tiana. Miss Tiana Stevens stated that, She and her daughter live together at the listed location. Ms. Stevens advised that she lives downstairs in the basement and the defendant lives upstairs. Ms. Stevens stated that she and the defendant got into a verbal argument over the phone about using toilet paper. They were yelling through the vent at each other. Eventually, Ms. Stevens stated that the accused came downstairs yelling, "This is my house," and yelled, "Gotta get out." Ms. Stevens said that the accused then kicked the basement door in and entered her space. She stated that they got into a physical altercation during which the accused struck her in the left eye with a closed fist. The officer did observe bruising and swelling around Ms. Stevens's left eye, along with a scratch across her nose. Your Honor, the state is recommending a $1,500 surety bond, no further violent contact. We did speak with Miss Tiana Stevens this morning, and she agrees to no further violent contact. We would also ask for a 1-day anger awareness and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Your Honor, at the appropriate time, I would ask that you sound for the victim.
All right, and the victim, is it Tiana Stevens?
Tiana, correct.
Mm,
I don't.
anyone on the call by the name of Tiana Stevens?
Thank you.
Nope. All right, PDs?
Yes, Your Honor, this is one of my cases. Come before you is Miss Stevens. She is 29 years of age. She's been living in Georgia for the past 9 years. Your Honor, we do understand that this incident location is her address. She has assured me that she is the one who is paying the rent and is on the lease at this location. And so we would be asking that there is no stay away from this because this is her home. And she is the one on the lease here in charge of that address. She does have 2 children, a 1-year-old and a 10-year-old. They both do reside there as well. She has made it pretty far in school. In fact, does have an associate's degree as well. So that's pretty impressive from Miss Stevens. She also does have good work. She is a sub at the Atlanta Public School System. She's also a licensed esthetician. Your Honor, the state had mentioned that the victim here is okay with no further violent contact. We would like to bring that back up because, again, we really want her to be able to go back to that address because otherwise she doesn't really have anywhere else to go. So based off of the limited number of arrests, as well as, all of the community ties that she has here, we would be asking for a signature bond in her case. So that way Ms. Stevens is able to go home, continue her employment, and able to get this resolved down the line here from home. Thank you.
And the relationship again with the victim, Miss Tiana Stevens, and
Mother-daughter.
mother-daughter? All right, I will order a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial. And I will order no further violent contact with the victim. I will order the 1-day anger awareness course through pretrial. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I guess that's it. No further violent contact. Anything else?
Your Honor, position number 9, Ms. Robinson.
Okay. This is 24 CR 007782C. Brittany Robinson, charged with 1 count of simple battery against a police officer or corrections officer. Pretrial.
Third arrest, 2017 marijuana, 2013 suspended license.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor, this did occur on November 22nd of 2024. Officer Parrish was doing approved duty security at Revel nightclub located at 1778 Ellsworth Industrial Boulevard. Officer Parrish was called down to the floor to assist security with a woman later identified as the defendant who was accused, who had accused a waitress of stealing her debit card. They took the waitress into the office, asked management to review the cameras, and saw the female later identified as Miss Robinson. She had the card returned to her. That situation was sorted out. The officer left the floor. He was then called back to the floor from security, who he was advised that Ms. Robinson was getting loud and aggressive towards everyone inside. And when he returned, he did observe her attempting to jump over a friend and trying to hit the security guard who was attempting to have her removed. A male friend of hers began to walk her to the door, and that's when the officer heard her aggressively threatening folks, along with the sound of spitting on a security guard. Officer Parrish continued to the exit, where a female friend tried to push him. Once outside, he tried to speak to Ms. Robinson again about her card, and at that point, she spit on the officer. He then tased Ms. Robinson, who fell, tore the leads out of her body, and ran behind the building to the next street. She was ultimately taken into custody by Sergeant Jensen. Your Honor, we would ask for a $1,000 surety bond, a stay away from the Rebel nightclub, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
All right. PD Thomas.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Your Honor, Ms. Robinson is 32 years of age. She is a long-term Georgia resident since 2010. Ms. Robinson does have some family in the Georgia area. She attended Clark, Atlanta, and she did attend some courses at Georgia State University. Currently, Ms. Robinson is self-employed. She works as she's a content creator. She does a lot of content on social media, TikTok, and Instagram, Your Honor. As it pertains to the alleged incident, Your Honor, Ms. Robinson did express that she has no issue with staying away from this location. She was attending the Rebel Club with some friends that night. She did express that she has no issue with Officer Parrish, that this was just an unfortunate situation at this time. But again, she has no issue. More so, would like the court to take into consideration that Ms. Robinson doesn't have any history of violence, Your Honor. I believe she had a marijuana offense and a traffic citation, Your Honor. Given that this is Ms. Robinson's first offense, as such, we would be asking for a signature bond on her behalf. Again, she does not have any history of violence, very limited criminal history, Your Honor. No history of FTAs. I think she would be a great candidate for pretrial services, Your Honor. So with that being said, we just ask for a signature bond.
All right. I will give her a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial services. I'm going to ask her to take a one-day anger awareness course through pretrial services level 1. And I'm going to order for her to stay away from the Rebel nightclub. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And no further contact, obviously, with Officer Parrish. And that should be it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, is that no further contact or no further violent contact?
No further contact.
Thank you.
Petition 4, Ellis.
This is 24 CR 007774Y. It's Pierre Ellis, charge of 1 count of battery family violence. Pretrial.
This is a fifth adult arrest, 2019 DUI, 2013 battery DV, simple battery DV dismissed. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. This did occur on November 21st of 2024. Officers were called to 1925 Waycrest Drive, apartment 4107. Once they arrived, they spoke to the victim, Ms. Corey Carter, who said around 5:30, her boyfriend, the defendant, came into the bedroom bothering her about locking him out of his phone. She told the officers that the two started to argue, and the argument escalated and spilled into the living room. Ms. Carter said that once in the living room, the altercation became physical when he grabbed her with both hands around her neck. Excuse me. She stated that she pushed him off of her, grabbed his hands, and the two began to fight. Ms. Carter said that he punched her in the face a couple of times with a closed fist. The two stopped fighting momentarily. She grabbed her cell phone from the bedroom and went outside to call her mother on the cell phone. She said then she returned inside the bedroom and Ellis entered and he began asking her for money for his phone. She said that the two began to fight again. He hit her in the face and arms with a closed fist. Ms. Carter advised that she was thrown on the bed and he began to hold her down, putting his knee on her stomach. Ms. Carter said she maneuvered to the floor. The two continued to fight and she bit his chest. Ms. Carter advised that she left out the room and began clearing up the mess from the fight when she picked up a dreadlock belonging to Mr. Ellis, which was pulled from his head during the altercation. She said she was walking towards the door when he approached her from behind and hit her with the front part of his closed fist in the side of the head, causing her to fall on the ground between the wall and the couch. Ms. Carter had visible markings on her body, including a bruise on her neck, a bruise on her left arm, a knot and a cut on her upper right side of her forehead. Would also note that she is 7 months pregnant with Ellis's child. And she was evaluated by Grady EMS, Your Honor. Your Honor, the state is recommending a $3,000 surety bond, a no further contact, and a stay away. I do believe that the victim was on. Yes, the victim is on. And so at the appropriate time, I would ask you to sound for her. I do believe that she is asking for no further violent contact, but that is not the position of the state based on the serious allegations and her advanced pregnancy. We would also be asking for the defendant to be ordered to participate in the Family Violence Intervention Program, Your Honor.
All right, and victim's name again?
Corey Carter, Your Honor.
Ms. Carter, do you wish to address the court today, yes or no?
No.
All right, we'll keep moving. PD?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Your Honor, Mr. Ellis is 32 years of age. He's a lifelong Georgia resident. He does have two children, a 11-year-old daughter and the one that he's currently expecting with Mrs. Carter. He did complete high school. As of right now, Mr. Ellis is working with a temp agency. He's been working with several temp agencies over the past 2 years. Right now, he's waiting to be assigned. He did express that he does have an interview on Tuesday. However, his finances are extremely limited. I did discuss with him, obviously, the nature of the allegations and the possibility that he would not be allowed to return back to the residence. He did assure me that he does have somewhere else to stay, that he would not need to go back to the residence. However, he was asking for no further violent contact with Ms. Carter, given that she is 7 months pregnant, and would want to still have contact with her before the resolution of this case, given how late she is in her pregnancy, obviously from when that child is born, Your Honor. We are asking for a reasonable bond to be set. Given his lack of finances, we would be asking for a signature bond, but we ask for the court to set a reasonable bond.
All right. I'm going to order the $3,000 surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from 1925 Waycrest Drive. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim. Right now for her safety. This just happened a day ago. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I believe that'll be it. No further contact right now. And a stay away.
Yeah, can we get that SAP date
Oh,
again?
I believe it was December 5th.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Position number 7.
This is 24 CR 007780F. And this is Joel Lucas, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, 1 count of willful obstruction, law enforcement officer, third count, possession and use of drug-related objects. Pretrial.
47. Got a probation of criminal damage to property out of DeKalb County. 2022, 2023 probation violation, 2022 trespass conviction, 2021 trespass reckless conduct conviction, 2020 FTA, 2020 shoplifting conviction, 2019 same thing, 2018 FTA, 2018 reckless conduct disorderly conduct conviction, 2017 probation. That's it.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor. Officers did respond to On's Kitchen on November 21st. That's located at 16 Jesse Hill Jr. Drive in Southeast Atlanta. Officers Davis and Williams went for a criminal trespass call. Upon their arrival, they were met by one of the workers of the restaurant who advised that a black male was in the bathroom refusing to come out. Despite being asked to multiple times, the officers attempted to make contact with him by announcing Atlanta Police Department, open the door. They were unable to get the defendant to open the door. They did call fire rescue at that point. Fire rescue did forcibly make entry into the bathroom. At that point, they noted that Mr. Lucas was still on the toilet with what they identified later to be a crack pipe in his hands. They ordered him to come out of the bathroom and to stand up. He was ignoring all directions. They then took out handcuffs. They placed one cuff on his left wrist while the officer tried to pull him up by the right arm. He began resisting by snatching his arm away. And so at that point, they had to drag him out of the bathroom, put him on the ground. At that point, they were able to handcuff him to his waist, Your Honor. So because of his lengthy history, also recent arrests for shoplifting, public indecency, disorderly conducts, all in DeKalb County, we are asking for $1,000 surety bond on each charge for a total of $3,000, a stay away from On's Kitchen, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
All right.
You ready for me, Your Honor? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Lucas is 65 years of age. He's a lifelong Georgia resident. He does have family residing in the state. He has 3 grown boys that do not live in Georgia. However, one's in Philadelphia, the other's in Florida. Mr. Lucas did express to me that he is currently unemployed and he is homeless. He was in the bathroom, obviously. He had expressed that he had gotten food and had been waiting on someone to pick him up. I do believe this is a situation as to where Mr. Lucas had been in the restroom to stay out of the cold. He expressed to me that during the winter times, he often tries to find the warming centers in either Decatur, or he tries to find housing down in the Gateway shelter location, Your Honor. He has no financial assistance. He did express that he's also waiting on 4 SSI checks that he's been not able to retrieve at this current time. Just given Mr. Lucas's situation, his lack of finances, him not being able to find housing currently, I would be asking for a signature bond. He does not have any financial assistance. We acknowledge his criminal history, but Mr. Lucas has expressed that he would be on top of appearing for court, and that he would have a location in which he will provide the address location to receive court notices. I believe it's 201 Washington Street. But again, Your Honor, we will be asking for a signature bond or bond no more than $500 on each count.
All right. I'm going to order a $3,000 surety bond, which is $1,000 on each count. And with the $3,000 surety bond to stay away from the incident location. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I don't believe there was was there no further contact?
I did not request a no further contact, just to stay away from the kitchen. Yes.
Right, stay away from the kitchen. And I think that's it. Anything else?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
That'll be all, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Position number 3, Crenshaw.
Oh, I think, is this the one I signed the no process?
It is, Your Honor. He had 2 cases, so you signed a null pros on his other case.
Okay, sorry about that.
Judge, I'm gonna defer to the state with the history. I don't have it.
No, okay.
And one other thing, Your Honor, did they send me the no so that I can make sure? Have you signed it yet?
I have checked with
Okay.
Mr. Jordan.
Okay, no problem.
24 CR 0077773J. And with this case of Raheem Crenshaw is charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence. Pretrial. Oh, pretrial said defer to the state. I'm sorry.
Yes. Your Honor, we did see that the defendant has 27 cycles. He has convictions in 2014 for controlled substances, willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, and a suspended license, a 2009 conviction for aggravated assault and burglary, another 2009 conviction for burglary, and a 2006 conviction for felony theft. There was in 2020 a theft by receiving stolen property and suspended license case, which was dismissed, Your Honor. On the incident or on the day in question, which was November 21st of 2024, officers responded to 5800 Penfield Place in South Fulton, Georgia, for a fight call. Upon arrival, the officers walked up to the residence and they were met by Mr. Kenneth Burno at the door, who said that his grandson, later identified as Mr. Crenshaw, had to go. Officers heard yelling from the inside and walked in. They observed a male, later identified as the defendant, yelling at another individual within the house. The officers separated the parties and began interviewing Mr. Crenshaw about what took place. They also then talked to the other individual, whose name was Mr. Crawford, who is also a roommate within the home. Essentially, Mr. Crawford said that Mr. Crenshaw came into the kitchen, saw that Mr. Crawford was helping Mr. Burno, who's the defendant's grandfather, and he became agitated by that. Mr. Crawford said the two of them began arguing about why Mr. Crawford was helping Mr. Burno. Mr. Crawford then said that the defendant began getting in his face and used an open palm and smushed him on the side of the face. Mr. Crawford then said he began pushing Mr. Crenshaw back to get him out of his space. Officers did speak to Mr. Burno, who stated that that he saw Mr. Crenshaw push Mr. Crawford. He attempted to get between them and separate them, but was unable to separate them. Ms. Burno, who I believe is his grandmother, said that she was at the top of the stairs and also observed Mr. Crenshaw and Mr. Crawford get into the pushing match. She said that she saw the defendant push Mr. Crawford first, Your Honor. Your Honor, we were able to speak to Mr. Crawford. He does think that Mr. Crenshaw, the defendant, does have some serious anger problems, and I'll categorize it as a bully in the household. However, he is okay with no further violent contact with him, so we're not asking for a stay away. We would be asking for a $2,000 surety bond and for the defendant to participate in the Family Violence Intervention Program and to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Okay. And what was that amount again?
$2,000 surety bond, Your Honor. And that's based off of his history, where he does have a conviction for aggravated assault and burglary and other violent offenses. We note that the date is 2009. However, those are still convictions.
All right. And we don't have the victims on the Zoom, do we? Looks like I have anybody with that name. Sound for the victims, is it Mr. Crawford?
Yeah, Mr. Crawford, and then the Burnos were his grandparents, but they were not the named victims.
Burnos, okay. All right, go ahead, T.D. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, Mr. Crenshaw expressed to me that him and Mr. Crawford had been essentially roommates for the past 4 or 5 years. As the state mentioned, that is his grandparents' location. He's been living at that location since he's been a child. I believe he said since junior high. He has other relatives in the state. However, he did express that he believed he'll be able to return back to the residence. So we would be asking for no stay away to be put in place. As far as no further contact, no further violent contact, we will defer to the court. Mr. Crenshaw does not have any preference as far as having any contact with Mr. Crawford. Mr. Crawford is 47 years of age. He has 2 adult children, a 20-year-old and a 19-year-old. Currently, he's self-employed. He did used to sell clothes, through his online store. I'm not sure if Mr. Crenshaw still does that, but he did express that was his means of income prior to him being in custody. As far as his criminal history, Your Honor, we're asking the court to consider the fact that Mr. Crenshaw's history dates back over a decade. I did not hear that he has any history of family violence in the past, Your Honor. We're asking the court to consider that. Mr. Crenshaw said that his finances are extremely limited. He only has $20 to his name, and that's to get on the bus and to go back home. We would be asking for a signature bond in this place, in this case, Your Honor, and for him to be allowed to return back to his residence, to his grandparents' location.
I don't know about that. Returning back so soon. We need the cooling down period.
Then, Your Honor, we would be asking for a one-time escort for him to get any personal belongings.
Mhm. And you said he's how old? Mr. Crenshaw is
47.
47. Okay. Yeah, I will with this, I'm going to order the $2,000 surety bond on this count. And with that surety bond, I'm going to order stay away from the incident location, although it is his grandparents' home. He needs to find somewhere else to live next bond. I'm going to order right now no further contact with Mr. Crawford. I'm conflicted on the grandparents. I don't know that it matters so much with them. They were there. Just maybe if we just have to put something in, no further violent contact with the grandparents, just to make sure. I'm going to order that he have no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I will order that one-time law enforcement escort back to the property so that he can retrieve his personal belongings while he is temporarily displaced from the home. And he's raising his hand, Ms. Thomas. I don't know if we want to know what that question might be unless it's with the conditions.
Mr. Crenshaw, does it have anything to do with the bond conditions that the judge is setting forth?
No, it has the misunderstanding of the 2 people involved.
No. I'm
We
cut
don't
you off.
want to talk about your case during the bond hearing.
This is not your trial. I'm not here to go through the facts of what happened. That's a different forum and a different time. Right now, it is on bond. All right, so you can go back one time with a law enforcement escort to get your belongings and find somewhere else to stay while you're on bond. All right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Positions 5 and 6, Hazel.
All right, I'll sound for both cases. Position 5 is 24 CR 007776F, Lewis Hazel, charged with 1 count of battery family violence. That's from February the 27th, 2024. Position 6 is 24 CR 007777F, 1 count of simple battery family violence on August the 19th. 2023. Retrial.
14, 2022, suspended license nolo. 2019 probation, 2019 terrorist threats conviction, 2018 probation, 2017 terrorist threats conviction, 2012, 2011 terrorist threats conviction. That's it.
Okay.
Your Honor, I will take these cases chronologically. So at position number 5, officers were called to 1834 Hollywood Road Northwest, apartment 304. on August 19th of 2023. When they responded, they spoke to the victim, Ms. Sharday Taylor, who reported that her husband, the defendant, got upset when she confronted him about cheating on her. The argument escalated and he became upset. She reported that he forcefully slammed her onto the ground. Once she was back on her feet, he grabbed her by the neck and proceeded to choke her with both hands. He then repeatedly slammed her head against the wall during the altercation. Ms. Taylor said that both of her sons were there, but did not break up the fight. I believe they're currently around 15 and 17 years old. Officers did not observe any injuries to Ms. Taylor, but they did observe a hole in the wall where her head made contact. She did refuse medical treatment at the scene, and a warrant was put out for his arrest. Thereafter, on February 27th of 2024, officers were again called to 1834 Hollywood Road, apartment 304. Upon arrival, they were again met by Ms. Sharday Taylor. Ms. Taylor said that her husband, again, the defendant, assaulted her in the morning while she was asleep. She stated that he threw one of her cell phones at her, striking her in the back of the head with it while she was sleeping. She said the incident started because he had been going through her phone the day before and saw text messages from another man that she knows. Officers did observe a laceration to the back of her head from where the cell phone struck her in the head. Your Honor, that's at that time they ran through the system and saw the active warrant from the 2023 case. Your Honor, the state's recommendation at position number 5, the simple battery, would be a $1,500 surety bond, no further contact with Ms. Sharday Taylor, and a stay away from the 1834 Hollywood Road address. At the case at position 6, we would ask for a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with Ms. Sharday Taylor, a stay away from that same address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond, Your Honor.
All right. D. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. I was able to speak to Mr. Hazel. He did express that him and Ms. Taylor had been married for the past 2 years. They do not share any biological children, but he does serve as in a father capacity to her young teenage boys. They both been residing at the location. However, he did express that he may be able to find somewhere else to stay. They both want contact with each other, Your Honor. We asking the court to consider that. Mr. Hazel was under the impression that the first case with the August 2023 incident case had already been adjudicated last year. I told him he would need to find some documentation to support that. Otherwise, this case would still be open. We would be asking for a reasonable bond to be set. If Mr. Hazel is not entitled to a signature bond, we would be asking for a low bond amount. He did express, though, that he works with the Popcorn Lady Catering Company. He's been there for 3 months. However, it would not be he would not be financially able to afford a high bond amount. So we're just asking the court to consider either granting Mr. Hazel a signature bond if he's eligible, or a low bond amount, so that he'll be able to at least go to a bond company to bond himself out.
All right. On the first case, a $1,500 surety bond, and stay away from the incident location, 1834 Hollywood Road. No further contact right now with Sharday Taylor. Make sure there's, it seems like there's been cooling down, but I'll just continue with the no further contact because you all have not spoken with her. Is that correct? Is that correct, State?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Till we hear from her. I'm sorry,
here.
is she here? Where are you?
This is she. I
Okay,
don't
you
want to be
can't
on,
talk.
but
I
I'm
can't
here.
see you.
I'm here.
I cannot see you, so I can't talk to you.
Oh,
Turn on
okay.
your-
Hold on. Let me put the video on.
All right, do you wish to address the court today, yes or no?
Yes.
Hold
I
on,
just
hold on, slow down. But first you have to answer that question. Now I'm gonna swear you in before you testify. Raise your right hand. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
yes.
All right, put your hand down, state your name for the record.
I'm sorry, that Taylor.
Okay, and Ms. Taylor, are you in fear of Mr. Lewis Hazel?
No, when we after the second incident happened, we did like talk about the whole situation. He was remorseful. He said he didn't mean to throw it like where he threw it at. That's what he told me. We talked about it.
I'm not gonna
We've been
go
okay.
through too many of the facts with you, but my question is, are you in fear of him right now?
No, no.
Okay. Do you want to have any further contact with him?
Yeah,
Okay. All right, any cross-examination by the state?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, you can mute yourself and I'll go on with the hearing. Remember, this is just a bond hearing, okay? And can you mute yourself? I think you were not muted before okay, thank you. Go ahead, PD Thomas.
That's all from the defense, Your Honor. We're just asking that a reasonable bond to be set and that no further violent contact be permitted in his cases.
And Your Honor, I will say I did look through Odyssey. I don't see any evidence of that first case being adjudicated. And certainly once we get further discovery on it, if we see that there are visible bodily injuries, we will be upgrading that to the battery, family violence, and bringing back the cruelty to children because Ms. Taylor's 2 children were present when that did occur.
So in the first case, I'll still go with the $1,500 surety bond based on his history as well. And still, I'm going to, and I know these parties might have been living together since this incident, and I'm assuming without incident. And so the $1,500 surety bond, I'm hoping that Mr. Hazel has somewhere else to go stay.
And Your Honor, is that position 6 when you say first case?
Let me start with 5. I apologize.
What
Hello,
is that
I was looking
charge?
at 5.
hello, can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Yolanda Williams. I'm online also. I'm on the Zoom, representing Lewis Hazel.
I'm sorry, you an attorney?
No, I'm his aunt.
Okay, so you can't represent him. You're not an attorney. Were you on the scene at either of these incidents?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so at this point, I'm not hearing from relatives, or he doesn't need a character witness at this point.
Oh,
You can listen in, but
okay.
I'm not going to take any testimony from you, okay?
Okay.
This is not the forum for that.
Okay.
But you don't get online anymore and say you represent him because we assume you're an attorney. So just
Okay.
say you're here in support of him.
Okay.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so in the first case, $1,500 surety bond, which is a 2024 case ending in 776F. Stay away from 1834 Hollywood Road. No further contact with Sade Taylor at this time.
Excuse me, Your Honor, before you go any further, on the first charge is charged battery family violence. Is that the charge you're addressing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I also have the address as 1634 Hollywood Road.
Oh, I may have misstated it. What is the correct address?
No, the attorney also said 1834.
Oh.
I show it as 1634.
I'm looking I will confirm right now.
Okay. Miss Taylor, what's your address?
I'm no longer at that address, so I'm in Cobb County, so I'm not even no longer at that address.
All right. And was Mr. Hazel living at that address?
He would come over and visit. It was like off and on.
Okay. So what I'll order is him to stay away from any address where Miss Taylor lives. And if it's Cobb County or wherever, just stay away from her home address. I'll make it pretty global. And then no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And with that second case, simple battery, family violence, since that one is from 2023, I will order a $1,000 surety bond on that one. And so that'll make it a total of $2,500 surety for both cases. Same condition, stay away and no further contact with the victim. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. Okay. That'll be it. Thank you.
Yes,
You all
Sharon.
may sign off. Thank you.
Position number 10, Mr. Rowe.
This is 24 CR 007783C. Dijon Road, charged with 1 count of simple battery against a police officer or corrections officer, 1 second count of fair evasion, 3rd count criminal trespass, and 4th count willful obstruction against a law enforcement officer. Oh, I'm sorry, and I missed one. Disorderly conduct was the first. 1, 2, 3. So there are 5 counts, and I think I've said them all. Pre-trial.
10 total. 2022 ag assault with a deadly weapon. Illegal carrying a weapon conviction. That was in another state. 2022 resisting an officer, battery on police, interference with police investigation. 2021 probations, 2020 criminal recklessness, resisting law enforcement conviction. And we got some open cases. That's it.
Okay.
Correct, Your Honor. I believe those out-of-state cases are from Louisiana. This incident did occur on November 22nd. MARTA police officers were at the College Park MARTA station located at 3800 East Main Street. When they observed the defendant walk through a barricaded open fare gate without paying, they asked him to leave on multiple occasions. He refused to leave the MARTA station. He then told officers that if they touched him, he was going to beat them up. And when they attempted to, when they did in fact attempt to arrest him because he was refusing to leave, he intentionally punched Officer Littles in the face with a closed fist. Your Honor, because this is a history of attacks on law enforcement officers, the state is asking for $500 surety bonds on each count. So that would be the disorderly conduct, the fare evasion, criminal trespass, willful obstruction, and simple battery. At the simple battery, we're actually, I apologize, asking for a $2,000 surety bond because of his history of attacks on law enforcement. So all total, it would be a $4,000 good bond that the state is asking for. $2,000 at the simple battery, $500 at the other counts, Your Honor, and a stay away from all MARTA locations. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right. PD Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, this is Mr. Rowe. He's 27 years of age. He's been a Georgia resident. However, he does have intentions on moving back to his home state of Louisiana, excuse me, but to the city of New Orleans. He does have family residing in both states, in Georgia and Louisiana. He actually, as he expressed to me, already has his housing set up, and he was intending to move back to Louisiana this week. Mr. Rowe does have some college education. He attended school in Rome, Georgia. As of right now, Mr. Rowe expressed that he's unemployed. He does have some job interviews lined up when he reaches New Orleans, Your Honor, but he does not have any money currently. We would be asking for a bond reduction, Your Honor. We would actually be asking, if he's not entitled to a signature bond, to $500 each count. I guess totaling, what is that, $2,500 in total, if it's $500 each count, Your Honor, and ask that he not be banned from all MARTA stations. He is using public transportation currently, but he does acknowledge and understand that he would not be able to go back to the particular incident location. I believe that's College Park MARTA station, Your Honor. But we would be asking not for that band of all MARTA, given that he does use the public transportation.
Well, I guess the only problem is people riding MARTA need to be safe and feel safe. And he'll have to take Ubers or Lyft or other ways. There are other ways to get around, maybe a little more costly. But this just happened on the 22nd, so we haven't even been 24 hours out of it. And I am concerned about the conduct, as well as his history, as well as the fact that he lives out of state or will be moving back to live out of state with these open cases. So I'm going to order the $4,000 surety bond as the state has recommended. And right now, I'm going to order that he stay away from MARTA. I won't do a ban, so to speak, just yet. Let's see how the case progresses. But certainly, as he's getting out of town, he's not going to take MARTA. I mean, I don't know, maybe he has to take it to get his ride, but he'll have to find some other way to do that. And so right now, he needs to stay away from all MARTA. And I need him to have no guns, alcohol, weapons, or drugs while on bond. So that's 5,000 on the disorderly, 2,000 on the simple battery, 500 on the other three charges for a total of 4,000 surety. And right now, stay away from all MARTA.
So 500 on count one. I think I heard 5,000.
Yes,
I'm sorry, 500. I'm sorry,
Okay.
500. All right, that should do it.
Thank you.
Position number 12.
This 24 CR 0077778A. Michael Thomas charging 1 count of simple battery. Pretrial.
Fourth arrest. 2018 attempted to conspiracy to violate. I don't know why they spelled it like that. To violate Georgia Controlled Substance Act. That was dismissed. 2018 simple battery DV NOLO, and the 2015 forgery conviction. That's it.
Okay.
Your Honor, this incident happened on November 21st, 2024. The defendant and Mr. Samuel Wright were living together at 161 Peachtree Center Avenue, apartment 2107A. They spoke with Mr. Thomas, who had an injury to his left upper eyebrow and a wide cut to his face. He stated he and the victim had gotten into an altercation that had been ongoing for a few days. They then spoke to Mr. Samuel Wright. Mr. Wright said that he was arguing with the defendant, and the defendant said he told the defendant he would have to swing the first punch if he wanted to fight him so badly. At that point, the defendant then hit Mr. Wright in the face, and a fight took place in the home. This did occur in front of 2 other roommates. After interviewing the 2 roommates, they told the exact same story as Mr. Wright about how the fight started and that the defendant was the primary aggressor, and the defendant was taken into custody. We are agreeable to a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial services. We do ask for 2 days anger management, no further contact with Mr. Samuel Wright, and a stay away order from 161 Peachtree Center Avenue Northeast. We would like to, at this time, sound for Mr. Samuel Wright. It looks like we did have an opportunity to speak with him. He lives in that location. These are on-campus apartments at Georgia State. And he stated that the police and security have had to come to his home numerous times because of the defendant's behavior and escalating disagreements. He stated this is the first time that this has turned physical, and he does not have a problem with the no further violent contact, but due to the incident, he also stated the defendant is very unexpected, and he is unsure if the defendant will try to assault him again. So based on that, that is why the state is asking for no further contact instead of no further violent contact in this case. And again, we would like to sound for Mr. Samuel Wright. That's all for the state.
All right. Samuel Wright. I think so. All right. PD?
Yes, Your Honor. Come before you is Mr. Thomas. He's 27 years of age. He does go to school at Georgia Tech and is studying. He's in his second year studying business management there. Your Honor, he has one child of 4 years of age. And Mr. Thomas, I do want to just get a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I believe the address you had given to me where you would be residing after this is 112 Cortlandt Street Northeast, right? Perfect. So I don't believe that that stay away from that location should be any issue. With that being said, I do not know if he does have personal belongings at that location still. And so we would ask that he is allowed to go back one time with an escort from law enforcement to obtain any of his personal belongings that may be there at the moment. Your Honor, he's been living for the past 18 years here in the state of Georgia. He also does airport security and has been doing security for about a year and a half now, and has been doing security at the airport specifically for about 6 months. Your Honor, we do ask that in this case, you do grant that signature bond and allow Mr. Thomas to go back out and continue with his studies. I'm sure if he is enrolled in GSU right now, he's got finals coming up. And I would really, really hate at the end of the semester here to have anything else hold him back from going back to his studies and doing well on his finals. So we would be asking that you honor that signature bond request. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I will order the $2,500 signature bond through pretrial. And with that signature bond through pretrial, stay away from the 161 Peachtree Center Avenue. No further contact with the victim, Samuel Wright. A one-time law enforcement escort back to that property to retrieve his personal belongings if needed. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I'm going to ask you to take a 2-day anger awareness course through pretrial. And I think that's it. Did I leave out anything?
No, Your Honor, I do not believe so.
Okay, he keeps raising his hand. I don't know if he has a question. He has a signature bond, so I'm not sure what his questions would be.
I also would like to note for the record, I would like to advise Mr. Thomas that if it is anything about the details of his case, I ask that he remain silent and exercise that right.
Okay. All right, that's it.
Yeah, I still wanted to speak though, because it wasn't the right address and like that's where I just currently live. I mean, I could find somewhere to go, but I have a lot of valuables there. So it's not just gonna take one little ride and just to get all my stuff and just leave. Like, so I'm just trying to understand. Only thing I have about the situation was I was bullied by all the roommates and that's it.
Hold on. We're talking about getting your belongings. So are you talking about furniture and things of that nature that you would have to get?
A lot of belongings. It's not gonna
I'm
just
sorry.
be, just have a lot of belongings. It's not gonna just be one ride and get everything. That's what I'm saying. Because if I'm
Well, you
gonna,
may have to just get clothing and personal belongings and leave all the heavier, bigger items until later. Because I don't even think the police will wait hours and hours. I guess if you arrange with them, let them know what you have and how much you need, and you have to show up with the U-Haul truck, they may be able to assist with that time. But we want to make sure there's not going to be any future incidents out there, even with you going back to get your belongings. And so
yeah,
we're trying to calm this down and cool it down. It's just been a day or so.
yeah, it's still another thing is that I'm already paying out of pocket for there. So where only place I can go is just where my parents stay in McDonough, Georgia, and there's no transportation there. There's no I take MARTA, so I need to be able
Well, I
to.
haven't said that you couldn't take MARTA to get to school. That's more important, and you just have to get up real early and get it. But I'm not going to allow you to go back there right now because I don't think it's a good situation. It seems too volatile. Needs to be some cooling down. And so we will let you do a one-time law enforcement escort to go back to get some clothing and personal items that you might need, books or whatever for school, that kind of stuff they will allow you to get. Anything beyond that is going to have to be left there until we can sort things out, or have your attorney to contact us for some modification issues. But right now, we want to make sure that everybody's going to be safe and that this has cooled down, okay?
I just have two more questions. It's nothing else. It's just, all I was saying was that how long would that be until I can go back to the resident area?
Well, you have to arrange it with the police when you bond out. But you're on a signature bond through pretrial, so you will be able to sign your own bond. Then you have to contact the police or law enforcement to escort you there. Because if you go back there without an escort, you'll be arrested.
All right, and last
Okay.
thing, how much is that? How much will you probably can't discuss that though.
Okay, hold on, come on.
I'm like, damn, you prepared.
Yeah, come on. Number 13, Turner.
Know what's up there.
24 CR 007781B, Sean Michael Turner, 2 counts of battery, pretrial.
First, 18
Okay.
years old.
Oh, he's 18. All right. Just turned 18, so he still needs a cosigner, correct? Hi. Go ahead, Shay.
Your
I
Honor,
would prefer.
I'm
sent,
sorry. Oh, I didn't hear you.
I sent the Zoom link to his mother, who should be present here on the Zoom and could co-sign for him.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
So, Your Honor, with that being said, this incident happened August 3rd, 2024. It's 2 counts of battery. This incident involved Gabriella Victoria, who's now 18 years of age. She is the ex-girlfriend of the defendant. She was at a party. The defendant tracked her to the party. Got upset with her because she was at the party, took her phone from her, ran outside, began yelling, calling her names and other obscenities when she came outside to get her phone. At that point, he threw her to the ground. Her friend, Caitlin Kim, then became involved, tried to assist, and he punched her and also threw her to the ground. This was witnessed by several individuals, at least 2 of whom spoke to the police and gave them their names and information and were also at the party at the time. They did not appear to know any of the individuals at the party who were involved in this altercation. They just happened to be at the party and witnessed this and assisted both of these young women and got Miss Gabriella Victoria's phone back from the defendant. At that point, everyone, Miss Gabriella Victoria and Caitlin Kim went to the Exxon at 13020 Morris Road, and the officers met them at that location. They then went to the party location, which was at 925 Fawn Way, where they spoke to all the witnesses and gathered the information that corresponded with the young lady's statements about what had happened that evening. This defendant has no history. I have spoken to both Miss Gabriella Victoria and her mother, and the state would agree at this time to a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services. That's going to be $1,500 per count. No further contact with Gabriella Victoria and Caitlin Kim, and stay away from their residences. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and 2 days of anger management. We did reach out to Miss Kim and her mother, but I did not receive a response from Miss Kim at this time. But in an abundance of caution, we are asking for no further contact from both of those young ladies and to stay away from their homes. That's all for the state. We would like to sound, I did speak with Miss Gabriella Victoria. She does, my understanding is, have a performance right now. But in case she is here, I would like to sound for her and Miss Caitlin Kim.
All right. Gabriella Victoria or Caitlin Kim. So are they still in high school or not?
My understanding, and I'm sure, I believe Miss Victoria's mother is on the line, so I'm sure she will correct me if I'm wrong. I believe, yes, they are still in high school.
All right. And so are they going to go back and, I guess, be together in high school, or I'm making sure
Now,
this is
that I'm not sure of
this
if they attend the same school or what that would look like. I believe, again, Miss Gabriella Victoria's mother may be on the line, I sent the link to Mr. Thomas's mother just in case she can help fill in some of those blanks. Or
Is
the
anyone
PO's
connected
office.
with this case or any of these victims, Gabriella, Victoria. All right, is it Miss Rada?
It is, yes. I'm Gabriella's mom.
Gabriella's mom, okay. And then do we have anyone else on for the other victim, Miss Kim? Okay. And so, Miss Gabriella, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about, do you affirm, can you hear me?
I can. I'm Kristen. I'm Gabriella's mother.
Okay. And can you raise your right hand for me? Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So is your daughter still in high school?
She is in high school. She is still 17.
So she's not 18. Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay. And so, and she still goes to high school with the defendant. Is that correct?
They do not attend the same school.
Do not. Okay.
No.
That sums up some of my questions with them not at the same school. I want to make sure she's safe and make sure that she feels safe. I know this happened back in August. Sounds like it might have been at the beginning of the school year.
That is correct, Your Honor.
So making sure that she's safe. Do you know about Miss Kim at all, the other victim?
Yes, ma'am. That is Gabriella's best friend's mother. I spoke to her yesterday. I'm not sure. I think she had the link. I'm not sure if she's on or not.
Right. And so they both go to a different high school than the defendant, both of them. All right. So that helps me because I'm going to order him to stay away from them, I'm for sure. But I just wanted to kind of know logistics of where we were. And both of them are 17.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Anything else you'd like to add just in general about the situation?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thank you for coming on. You can mute yourself and listen to the order.
And Your
All right.
Honor, my
Yes.
apologies. I believe it was Mr. Thomas who has recently turned 18, and I think I just confused that with the two victims. My apologies.
Oh, okay. No worries. No worries. All right. TDs?
Yes, Your Honor. Come before you is Mr. Turner. He did just recently turn 18. So he's lived in the state of Georgia for his entire life. He does have significant ties to this area with his family being here and his mother and siblings at the address of 325 Waddington Trail in Johns Creek, Georgia. Your Honor, he is a senior at Northview High School. So one of the outstanding questions that the witness there was able to provide for us here is I don't think that should be an issue considering they do not go to that same high school. So that's good. Your Honor, he does have plans to go to Georgia State University after graduating. He said he wants to do something with the technical arts. And so he's kind of wrapping up high school, still getting an education. He did previously have a job working at Party City as well. So he is trying to save up money for those living expenses and for higher education. I believe his mom is on the line here. So I do not think having a cosigner will be an issue. But given the fact that he does not have a history, he is 18 years of age, and he is wrapping up with school. We do ask that he receive a signature bond today, and with a cosigner as well, given his age.
All right.
And I am on the line. My name is Tashina Turner. I'm his mom.
All right. Ms. Turner, you're willing to co-sign bond for your son?
Yes, I am.
Okay, spell your name for the record, please.
It's Tashina. Same last name, Turner.
Okay.
And he did just turn 18. He is a senior.
When's his birthday?
September 29th, 2006.
Okay, so he did okay, a few months. And he's still in high school. I'm assuming he's going to graduate in May of 2025.
That's the plan.
All right. And that he doesn't go to high school with both of the victims. I'm just making sure of that again.
He does not. There shouldn't be a problem with them speaking.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm going to order the $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services at level 1. That'll be $1,500 on each charge. I'm going to order him to stay away totally from Gabriella, Victoria, and is it Caitlin?
That is correct, Your Honor. Caitlin
Kim. All right. and to have no further contact with either of them. So, Mr. Turner, if you're out and about and you see them or with other friends or at school events, whatever, you need to go the other way because you're going to be on bond and you're to have no further contact with them. And probably if they see you, they'll call the police. So you need to get out of there, get away so that there will be no contact between you all. At their homes or at school, you're not to be at their schools. I'm sure you know what schools they go to. So try to stay away from functions or events at their schools since you shouldn't have a big reason to be there.
Judge,
No
I'm
drug.
sorry. I don't mean to
Yes.
interrupt, but what happens when they come to my house? Because they both, her mom and her came to my house.
Who
So
came to your house?
Kristen, and she can attest to it. She's on the call. She came to my house.
After the case happened?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, if that happens, I guess you would call the police because she'd be trespassing because you not want her at your property. So I will say that it goes slightly both ways, but Miss Rada, do not do that again. And I understand you might have been trying to take care or handle the situation, but if you do that and she asks you to leave and you don't, then you could be arrested for
Yes, ma'am.
trespassing. Okay, so let's have no further contact. And I have to just say it with the defendant and the victim because he's the one being charged. But Ms. Turner, handle it however you need to if that happens. But I think after today, all parties will be clear. And I was getting ready to say no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond, Mr. Turner. And do not contact them by social media. I have to put this in here. This is a different generation than when I grew up. So we don't want to talk about it on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and all the other places that I don't even know of. So this will not be discussed on any social media, not any school websites or pages of any sort. No emails about it. Don't discuss it with your friends. If they ask you about it, I can't discuss it. I can only talk to my lawyer and my mom. That's it. And so we're not going to play this out in any other forums that this generation likes to do. So make sure you don't put any post about it. And if you can control your friends, tell them not to either. Don't talk about these young ladies. At this point, they don't exist in your world, okay? All right. Good luck to you.
Position 14.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yes, thank you, Ms. Turner. This case is 24 CR 007779D. John Warren charged with one count of theft of services and a second count of theft by taking. Retrial?
Yeah, that's a lot. 21 total, resident of Alabama. It's a lot of open cases. Got open shoplifting, theft of property, larceny. What else? Disorderly conduct, public order crime, which is public intoxication. Dangerous drugs. It's just different cities in Alabama. Another dangerous drugs, public intoxication. Arson, second degree. Trespass, third degree. Family offense, DV, harassment. Property crime, criminal mischief. Damn. Public order crime, 2 FTAs from 2024 and 2 from 2023.
All right.
So, Your Honor, his FTAs were as recent as June 2024 and 2 in June in 2024. And then his most recent charge in Alabama was October 20th of 2024 for theft of property, 4th degree. And it says shoplifting, theft of property, 4th degree. In this particular case, Your Honor, the defendant on November 22nd, 2024, went to 3044 Dogwood Drive in Hateville. He removed the package of Tanya McPherson off her front porch, and she was able to identify the defendant was wearing, she described him as wearing, it being a white male dressed in a black beanie, black hoodie, and blue jeans, yelling in the street and stealing packages off the porches. When he then appeared to have gone to, at around the same time, have gone to the Folk Art Restaurant at 637 North Central Avenue in Hateville. There, police spoke with Miss Brooke Rollins, who was an employee. She stated the defendant who she described as a white male dressed in blue jeans, plaid shirt, black hoodie, black beanie, came inside, ate, and then left a note on the back of his receipt and quickly left the location. The note stated, it gave his phone number with IOU, keep it on the DL. I'll get back to you next week for sure, beautiful girl. The defendant was then arrested and charged with theft of services and theft by taking of the package from the other location. He did admit to writing the note from earlier incident and said he would pay the restaurant when he got back. And the homeowner confirmed the packages and the items that belonged to her and asked the charges be pressed against the defendant. We would ask for a $500 surety bond on each charge for a total of $1,000 surety bond. We do ask the defendant stay away from Folk Art Restaurant located at 637 North Central Avenue in Hateville, as well as the home of Tanya McPherson at 3044 Dogwood Drive in Hateville. We do ask for no further contact from Miss Tanya McPherson and no further contact from Miss Brooke Rollins. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons at this time, and that's all for the state at this time. And that's largely based, Your Honor, on the fact that he is not a resident. This is his first offense here in Georgia, and he does have a lengthy history in Alabama leading all the way up to last month.
All right, PD.
Yes, Your Honor. Come before you is Mr. Warren. He is 48, and today also is his birthday. So I'm hoping we may be able to get him a little birthday gift here. So he does live out of state. He has recently been trying to move to the Atlanta area, but the address that I had known him to have is 1492 Duncan Road in Nauvoo, Alabama. Your Honor, Mr. Warren does have 3 children, 1 grandchild as well. He did go to college at Fergus Institute in Birmingham. He does HVAC for work, has been doing that for over 25 years, so has a very lengthy career in that field. And I do think that it will be very difficult for him to pay this bond, given both that he didn't necessarily have the money to from the allegation, which is still an allegation, pay for the meal at that moment, but also perhaps not a lot of options for people to pay bonds. So we do understand his lengthy criminal history. These are nonviolent offenses, and I think that does work in his favor here. So again, just going back to it, we do ask that you grant him a signature bond today. And happy birthday to Mr. Warren.
Some birthday. Let's see. I am concerned because obviously he's going to go back to Alabama. I don't want you to speak at this point. I don't think there's nothing you can add right now. This is going to probably change my mind. So I'm going to give him a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial so that he can be kept up with.
How are we gonna keep up with him here in Alabama?
He got a phone. He has a
And
phone.
all these open cases.
Yeah, I know you don't want him. But I want to make sure he's calling back in. Well, he probably end up in jail in Alabama when he gets back, won't he?
So how we can't come off the bond, that the case.
Yeah. I would say release him. I don't know. He doesn't have, they're not really holds, I guess, are they?
There are no, I can take a look. I don't, hold on.
Trying to see if anybody will come and get him.
Let me just check.
Okay.
He doesn't have any holds. I didn't think he did, but I just wanted to double check.
Mm-hmm. So they're not coming to get him. And then he's going to stay in Georgia, stay in Atlanta. But I don't want him to keep committing crimes by staying in Atlanta. If you go to Alabama, I guess he knows what's going to happen there.
Yes, Your Honor. He had relayed to me that he was attempting to move to the Atlanta area recently. However, again, his only permanent address, I believe, at the moment is that one in Alabama.
So, Mr. Warren, we don't have an Atlanta address. Where do you stay when you're here?
I do have Atlanta address. It's the Third Eye Tattoos. I just don't know the address by heart. I haven't got it set up yet. And I have a $14,000 check from Morgan & Morgan at 191 P Street. Monday morning, I've got to collect, and then I'll be able to further set up myself. That's why I haven't specifically picked an address. I promise you I will not run. And thank you so much for the bond. I appreciate it.
Hold on. So you're gonna receive a settlement check from the firm on Monday?
I should receive a settlement check Monday or Monday week because of Thanksgiving. It's 11,200. It's 11,600 right now. They're going back for 22,000. They're expecting to close between 13 and 14,000 for an accident I had while going to college back in Alabama. And a lot of them charges in Alabama are old charges, and none of them are open. Have no felonies.
I don't know about they're not open. They're showing is open. Maybe you think that. Some people think the older they get, they just fall off and close off on their own. Some states aren't, or places aren't as aggressive.
Mr. Warren, I'd advise you at this juncture again to exercise your right to remain silent. Thank you.
Yes.
Well, I guess with these charges, you can sign your own, but I'm afraid of that. And I think if you get your money, I hope you're wise with it. When you get it, and do some positive things with it and get your life together. And you know, your history is long and it's just not great. So let's do this. Since we're not going to run them through pretrial, I can go ahead and do them through the jail.
Actually, Your Honor, the FTAs make that impossible with SB 63.
Oh, with the SB, yeah.
Yep.
So they have to be sureties because of the new statute as of July 1. So I'm going to, the state recommended 500 on each, $1,000 surety.
Yes, Your Honor, we did.
So that's very low. So $1,000 surety, 500 on each. Stay away from the folk art place and the home of Tanya McPherson. So both of these incident locations, stay away from there. And I would put in there, just don't get in any more trouble and do anything that doesn't make sense to end up back here at the Fulton County Jail. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bonds. You have a very minimal $1,000 surety, 500 on each. Okay. All right.
So I guess
Add-on number one is the testimony.
This is which position? Oh, one on the add-on?
This is the add-on, Your Honor.
Oh.
And Mr. Jordan did send out the calendar on this. He sent out an add-on.
Ms. Bridgewater, can you call it for me? I didn't turn around the print.
Sure, Your Honor, this is Elijah Testamark. Case number 24 CR 007784G. Charged with theft by receiving stolen property.
Okay. Retrial.
The ninth arrest. On probation in DeKalb County, theft by taking. Got an open case out of Brookhaven, possession of a Schedule 2 with intent, possession of a firearm by convicted felon, possession of meth, identity theft, fraud, pimping, and another vice-related charge, I guess, keeping a place of prostitution, basically. Burglary second degree, these are all open. 6 counts of burglary second degree, financial transaction, card theft. He's wanted out of Cobb and DeKalb County. I think he went to felony earlier. I'm not sure what the bond was.
He did.
2023 theft by taking conviction.
All right.
So, Your Honor, just to kind of give you a little bit of a snapshot here, the defendant has a $1,000 surety bond on this case. He has an open financial transaction card theft and identity fraud under 24 PI 008659. And he has 2 foreign warrants, one from Smyrna PD and one from DeKalb County. In our current case, the defendant, well, A victim had their storage unit broken into back in October of 2024. Matthew Harriot stated that his public storage unit had been entered and the lock had been changed. He explained that when he was in town, on October 6th, he accessed the locker, removed some items, locked it up, and then on October 11th, he returned, found his lock had been removed and another lock had been replaced. He talked to the company said they hadn't put the lock on there. And when he went through the location, he didn't see necessarily anything unusual. Now, this kind of ties into the felony case because on November 19th, 2024, the defendant had gone to the Comfort Inn and charged a room for $185.02 and used the credit card and identification of Nathan Scarborough. Nathan Scarborough stated he had lost his card approximately 1 month before. Apparently, in Mr. Testamark's bag, Mr. Harriot's identification and a credit card was located inside Mr. Testamark's backpack. So the reason we were hesitating to accuse this case is because we were actually trying to connect it back to the felony case. However, the DA's office wasn't able to get back to me with an answer today, so I went ahead and accused it. We would ask that the bond remain as set at $1,000 surety bond, that the defendant have no further contact with Matthew Harriot. The last name is Herriot, that he stay away from 2300 Holcomb Bridge Road in Roswell, which is the public storage at that location, and that he have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Our expectation is that we will be transferring this case to join the felony case on Monday.
Okay, PD.
And we would like to sound for Mr. Matthew Harriot in case he is here. That's all for the state.
Right. Mr. Matthew Harriot. I think everybody else is an employee, except I'm not sure who the CC is. Or KK. Everybody else is employed here, I believe. Who's the CC or the KK? Is that someone that works here or not? Or maybe someone signed on and walked away. Do we know who that is, Deputy Faulkner?
Is KK Caitlin Kim?
Oh, the other
Miss
victim.
Kim, yeah, I'm not sure. The person who's under the name KK, can you please identify yourself? Okay, not receiving a response, Your Honor.
All right, we'll move on. All right, PDs.
Yes, Your Honor. Come before you is Mr. Testamark. He is 39 years of age, has been residing in the state of Georgia for the past 18 years. He does have a good address at 8424 Fredericksburg Court, and that is in Jonesboro, Georgia. Your Honor, Mr. Testamark would live there with their father. He also does have one child, 5 years of age. The child does reside with him, and he takes care of that child. He went to college at Georgia State and studied human science there. He also is an electrician by trade, has been an electrician for the past 10 years at TDCSI. So he does have good, stable employment that keeps him in this area. Your Honor, we understand this felony case that is pending, as well as the state's position about transferring this case to there. As a defense attorney, I must make the argument here that these at the moment are allegations. He is not yet guilty of anything. He has not yet had these charges proven against him. So we do request, and we will be requesting today, that bond do be lowered. With that said, we would ask if Your Honor would be amenable to a signature bond, that it would be lowered to there. However, if that is not possible, we would be asking that bond not exceed $200 in aggregate. Thank you.
Well, he's wanted out of DeKalb and Cobb. Now, those are active warrants, technically, right? I mean, I don't know that they're coming to get him, but
that is correct, Your Honor. Those are active warrants.
yeah, so I'm not going to give him a signature bond, that's for sure. And what is he on? What bond did he get on felony this morning? Do we know?
I do not know. I don't know if pretrial could check quickly with the
He
Let me
received
see.
a, 10,000
And-
good.
Okay, 10,000 good. Okay. All right. And I know that this is this charge is, hold on a second. Let me look at one thing. Yeah, it's just the theft by receiving stolen property, but what concerns me is all the other charges, allegations, and things of that nature. So I'm going to, and right now, the state was recommending the 1,000 surety. Or that's
Yes,
what
Your
it's
Honor.
set at. Is it already
That's what
set
it's
at?
already set at.
Oh, because I was gonna go higher, but okay, I'll leave it at the 1,000 surety. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. Stay away from the Comfort Inn. No further contact with, is it Nathan Scarborough?
That is actually the victim in the other case. Matthew
Oh.
Harriot is our victim.
Matthew Harriot. All right, no further contact with him. Stay away from. Am I still right on the Comfort Inn, or there was the public
Storage.
Public storage, okay. Public storage on Holcomb Bridge. Stay away from. I'd actually tell you to stay away from all public storage at this point, because if you don't have any storage bins there, you don't need to be there. All right, that should be it. Did I leave out anything?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, your client has a question. Who's he pointing at to call? His attorney. You want your attorney to call you? He will.
I believe, hold on, Mr. Tesmark. Let me get out ahead of this. I believe you want me to call your father. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, I will give him a call after this.
Okay. Anything else?
I
Could be it.
believe that was the last case, Your Honor.
Good.
Yep, it's time to go.
With that being said, once again,
Right.
the reset date for the SAP calendar is December the 5th. Position number 1 is being reset further notice with a split bond of 4,500 through, it's a 4,500 SOB, okay? 2 is reset further notice with a $1,500 SOB through pretrial. 3 is going to the SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond. 4 SAP calendar with a $3,000 good bond. 5 SAP calendar with a $1,500 good bond. And 6 SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. 7 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $3,000 good bond. 8 SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. 9 is reset further notice with the $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 10 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $4,000 good bond. 11, reset further notice with a $1,500 SOB through pretrial. 12, reset further notice with a $2,500 SOB through pretrial. 13 is reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial with a cosigner. 14 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $1,000 good bond. Position 15 and 16 are reset till Monday. And our add-on calendar is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
Nope, think you got it.
Welcome to the weekend.
Right.
I just
All
want
right,
to say
everybody.
it was a pleasure to meet all of you guys. Thank you very
You
much.
too.
Likewise.
You too.
Miss Falls.
Everybody have
Welcome aboard.
good holiday if I don't see you again.
Okay,
But I don't
Judge is
think I
on his
will.
way to you.
Okay, thank you all.